Friends, thanks for watching today. This is Doreen, and today we're going to make a few batches or a couple batches of cookies because I want to make some mini ice cream sandwiches, and I think I want to use my sprinkles. If you saw one of my other little video clips, I was talking about these rainbow sprinkles I got. Let me get a little jar to open those up. So I'm kind of like this way. Maybe you are too. I like to do theme type of meals or desserts. And I was grocery shopping and I saw this big bottle of rainbow sprinkles. And I'm like, how fun is that? I'm like, I want to make desserts this summer. Focus, they're themed around that. So sprinkles. So I did put a little shout out there is, I thought of a few things like cupcakes with sprinkles, of course. I thought about doing cannolis, dip the ends with chocolate and put little sprinkles, or to put the sprinkles right on the filling, right? Yeah, but I'm gonna probably do like a layer cake. But yeah, put in the comments below if you can think of a fun dessert with sprinkles. But one of my ideas was to make a couple different type of cookies, and then I can go ahead and make little ice cream sandwiches with them and roll them in the sprinkles. That would be so fun and festive. And we have 4th of July coming up, so and maybe this will get out there before. We'll see. If not, it's a fun for any time of the summer, and that's why another reason like this multicolored sprinkles, the rainbow sprinkles, will work great. All right, so I'm making oatmeal scotchies. It's an oldie but a goodie. I haven't had these in so long, and I've been just hankering them. So I'm just using this Nestle Toll House recipe on here. Start with 1 1/4 cups of flour. I already got 1 cup going, so I won't take all my time on this video measuring things out. But I got 1 cup here, and we're gonna get another 1/4 cup because that's how much we need. So you can make this probably with gluten-free. I have some gluten-free flour, but this is regular flour. So I thought I'll make some other cookies gluten-free too. I don't know if I'll make a batch of these gluten-free. We'll see. Because I'm going to bring some of these to work. So here I have, so on the bag it calls for 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So that's what I got here. I'm going to put this into this bowl, mix that in there. And I think some cinnamon, if I'm not mistaken. Because we're going to mix the flour, baking soda, salt, and cinnamon. Yeah, how much cinnamon? We need 1/2 teaspoon. So we'll put that in. I got a little 1/4 teaspoon here. And I'll measure that out. So that was a little bit of more than we'll just put a little tad, less than a 1/4 here, so we don't go overboard. I remember my mom used to make these a lot growing up as a kid, but I haven't had them in years, and I always think, oh, that would be a nice change, and then I forget. So, but here we are today making them. So it'll be a fun summer dessert. Let me know what some of your fun desserts are for the summer, if you have your go-to fun desserts. Okay, so I've whisked that up pretty good, and then next we're gonna go ahead and do things in my mixer. We're gonna mix the sugars. We got brown sugar, we got granulated sugar, and we'll mix those in there. So let me put this stuff up and clear the way, and we'll have more space. We are ready to mix up the butter and the sugar. And we're going to mix up the eggs and the vanilla extract. I'm going to add a little bit of orange zest. It says on there you can. And I thought, that's going to be nice for the summer. So let's try that. I don't think I ever have. So let's go ahead and get the butter started. Now I have some unsalted butter because it does have the recipe did call for salt, so um, I think we'll be okay with unsalted. I don't think it said. Let me double check. Do do do. Oh, just to soften, so I think we'll be okay. I probably could do one stick of uh, unsalted, right? Or unsalted and one stick of salted. But I'm just cutting those up in little slices. Well, this one's really soft. I think I had this one out later or longer. So I'm going to make these batches of oatmeal scotchies. And then I'll make a batch of sugar cookies because those will certainly look pretty with the sprinkles. I don't know. I mean, I know typically a lot of times ice cream sandwiches you can do chocolate chips too. But I don't want to make too many because I've got other things to make too. Let me wash my hands, all slippery from the butter. All right, so let's add our sugar. So I got 3/4 a cup of, I feel like this doesn't really need that much sugar, but I'm going to follow the directions. And that's a hard thing for me because I always want to wander off and try something else. I don't really like the idea of all this sugar. But there's 3/4 of granulated sugar and 3/4 cup of brown sugar. So I always like my desserts. I like dessert. I love dessert, but I don't like it super sweet, right? You're probably the same way. All right, so we're going to use the zest of one orange, and I'm just going to do it into the bowl here. We want that butter nice and creamed. Yeah, I had to use this orange up, so I was like, you know what? It says it can put orange in there, and I got this. I don't want to waste it. So, the price of groceries now, right? We don't want to waste our food. And when you go ahead and zest, make sure you don't get that white part, the pith, because that will be bitter. It smells really good. I don't think I've never tried it with the orange zest. Well, I can't even think last time I had any of these oatmeal scotchies. And I'm just using a microplane. If you could see there, the little prongs teeth on there, that is perfect for like zesting cheeses, zesting any of your citrus fruits. I love this thing. I'm trying to remember. I've had this for quite a while and it still works great. I got this at I think one of those quality um, kitchen gadget stores. It was in the mall. I can't even remember what the name of it was at this point, but it is true. You get what you pay for. It was a little bit more, but I mean, it wasn't terribly expensive, but this has been just a blessing. All right, so we got that. We got that creaming, and now we're going to, let's put a little bit of our vanilla extract. Probably let's use like, probably a teaspoon. Let's see, does it say a whole teaspoon? Yep, 1 teaspoon. There we go. It'd be like a creamsicle with the vanilla and the orange, right? So let me know what kind of 4th of July desserts you're going to make. You know, we just got off of having a big wedding. My daughter got married a couple weeks ago, almost now, and we that it was a small backyard wedding, but so we did a lot of the food, well, most of it, and so for 4th of July, we're not going to go all gun ho because we're too pooped when we're recovering from that. So, all right, so we got that creamed. I'm going to put it up a little higher. I'll be back and we'll crack the eggs, okay? Okie dokie, it's time to put those eggs in. We'll put in them one at a time. And I always crack it in a little bowl most of the time. Sometimes I forget, but better so I don't get any shells or you get any shells in there. So number 1, number 2. And I had these eggs at room temperature. Didn't really call for it, but I'm so used to doing that with cakes and stuff, so. All right, now we're gonna slowly add the flour mixture, and we're gonna add the oats. Let's see, and we'll slowly add in that flour mixture. Remember, we went ahead and mixed that all together. So let's just use our measuring cup, put it in there. When I was making these, it was thinking about butterscotch. My great grandma, I had a great grandma, and she lived to like 90 or 91, and her name was Grandma Pierce, and she was, she had to be, I know at least 6 feet. Of course, when you're younger, everybody seems so tall, but she was very tall. So I'll say she was at least 6 feet. And long, mostly white hair. She used to put it up in the bun. That's the way the grandmothers were back then. And I was slowly added that in. Maybe I should have done it a little slower, but I think that was slow enough. And then we're going to mix it a little. I got that way down the low. Let's go ahead and add our oats in there. Anyway, Grandma Pierce, I'm going to shut that off and tell I said I want to overmix it. Grandma Pierce, she loved her desserts, and she lived with us for a while. And she would slip me I think $5 back then was a lot. And she'd have me run down to the store and get some butterscotch pudding. And she said, now get this pound cake or angel food cake and get the butterscotch pudding and some whipped cream. And she used to make up this dessert with just angel food cake or pound cake and pour the pudding over the top, butterscotch pudding, I remember. And my grandmother, which is my great grandma's daughter, she used to make a lot of pudding. I remember that because my grandpa, when I remember spending the night over there, and my grandma would be making lunch for Grandpa's work, and it seemed like he always had pudding every night. I love pudding too, but I don't make it every night. But I have learned to make an avocado chocolate pudding that is really good, and I feel it's a lot better for you. So, I remember one summer. Of course, this is another thing. Let's get going, and I'll finish my story. But we got to add our oats. Let's do that. So let's put this back on low. I think we're safe to here. We don't have to worry about the flowers splattering all over us. All right, so we're going to make sure I got that right on the oats. Yeah, 3 cups of quick or old-fashioned oats, and I have the old-fashioned oats here. I'm gonna mix that in, let that get blended. Anyway, one summer I spent the whole summer at my grandparents', and at the time we lived in Connecticut, and my grandma and grandpa lived in Ohio, a little town called Wakeman, Ohio. Cornfields. I was just I don't know, 12 or 13 years old. Now we're going to add the whole bag, pretty much the whole bag, but a little handful for the cup. and we'll mix that up. Anyway, I spent the summer there. Well, I was telling you about Grandma making pudding every night. Well, they'd give me a little bit. And my grandpa, he used to bring home these little boxes. It was like a whole pack of those, I don't know, they were Sugar Daddy. You remember those? They were like a caramel lollipop. I think it was called Sugar Daddy. He'd bring them home. They treated me too much, and I gained so much weight over. I don't know how much weight I gained, but when my parents came to pick me up, they're like, "Who's that little chunky girl coming down the road?" So it was their daughter. That's what happens when you leave them in the grandparents. And you know, when you're 12 or 13, I think I was 12. I don't know. I remember being in softball around that time because I remember the next year or when I can't exactly remember, but I remember I was young. And let's see, that age, they're like, you know, everybody hands you some dessert. You're like, sure, I'll take it. I like sweets. My mom likes sweets, and she probably got it from my grandma. So I'm just going to scrape this off, and we're going to get our pan ready. I'll be right back. Hey, I don't know what happened. My camera went off. That was weird. But anyway, I don't know how much where it exactly got cut off, but we're putting this in here for about 9 minutes in the oven at 375 preheated, and we're going to do it. Um, make a few batches so that we can have these ready for ice cream sandwiches. So let's set that timer, and we will be back. All right, I pulled these out of the oven. I put them in for extra minute because I thought it still needed to cook a little bit more. And I've just put the timer on for 2 minutes on the pan before I wanted it cool 2 minutes before I put it on a cooling rack. So let's go ahead and do that. And we're gonna scooch over here. Okay, so let's go ahead and put these on the cooling rack. Now, I think these are still going to be plenty chewy. They feel kind of soft, but we'll see when they harden up. It's been a good minute since I've made oatmeal cookies, so we will see. Oh, that one's ripping apart. It might have to be a test one. Now, that was that. Oh, I gotta be careful. Be careful with them. Maybe I should have let it cool. Maybe 4 minutes. They're kind of big, but we don't want to put a lot of ice cream in there. But and they're kind of soft. I'll have to see if I needed to put them in there a little bit longer. I think I would have liked the cookies a little bit smaller. I don't have a smaller scoop, so we'll make this do. All right, we'll let these cool. We're going to go ahead and get another batch. Now remember, this pan is not greased. You don't want to grease it. So let's go ahead and do another batch just like that other one because we want our tops of our cookies and our bottoms to be the same. Now I could just do 6 and 6 and try to make these smaller. As I'm talking to you, I'm thinking, you know what, I might do that. So I'm not going to put quite as much in these ones because I didn't want it quite so big. There we go. These are a lot smaller. Oh, that one's kind of, I'm going to scrape it. So I've just scraped it down. That's what I'll do. I'll use that to make 6 cookies, the batch that I already made. And that way the cookies are the same size. Of course, I had one of them that broke a little, and I might have to test that, of course, to see how it turned out. That's what they call it, a baker's dozen. I should have done an extra one, right? I'm going to do this batch for 10 minutes. And we'll be back. All right, I'm going to cut up these sugar cookies. It's basic, just a roll that you get in the grocery store. And I'm going to slice them about 1/2-inch slices. This will be a little trickier because I don't have a spoon where it's more of an exact measurement. So we'll see how I do. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. I'll cook a dozen at a time. I'm going to put this back in the fridge so it stays cold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I don't think I'll get another dozen out of there. But let's put this back in the fridge. And the other last of the oatmeal are ready to come out. And I'll put these in. Have some yummy ice cream sandwich. So this batch definitely came out a little smaller, and I like that. I'm going to do that same thing for that next. All right, we got the first batch of sugar cookies out. They look pretty nice, so we'll let them cool a couple minutes and put them on our rack. Yeah, we're not going to get another dozen, but this will work. So we'll have to determine if I think I need to make. I toyed with the idea of making a batch of peanut butter cookies because wouldn't that taste good with ice cream too? Some chocolate ice cream. Let's get these in the oven. That's just going to be a little taste test. I forgot to turn my oven down while they cooked okay. I'm not going to fuss with it. Probably because I had my oven open so much that the temperature really was down. So it is getting late, and I've got all my cookies made. So I just am letting them cool. I put some in a cookie tin, filled this whole cookie tin. I think maybe the 4 cookies couldn't fit in here. So anyway, that's my whole cookie tin of the oatmeal Scott cheese. I'm letting the rest of the sugar cookies. I gotta find another tin for those, and they'll be ready to make my ice cream sandwiches. I'm gonna think maybe make them tomorrow night, and put some cling wrap or something on there and put them in the freezer so they're ready to go for Friday. Yeah, well, Thursday. I can't do it Thursday night. I got to do it tomorrow night, Wednesday. When's the 4th of July? Thursday. Anyway, we'll see if this video gets there. Ah, all right. It is the next night, and now I'm assembling the ice cream sandwiches. So you're going to start with getting some plates ready. I got this plate ready where I'm going to put my cookies on there, and I'm trying to get kind of the same size ones. So, I mean, we used a measuring scoop and it should be exactly the same, but they're all a little different. So just trying to keep it even so that, not one's real smaller and bigger, and then when you go to put your ice cream, it'll be all lopsided. So what I have ready are my sprinkles. Remember our rainbow sprinkles? This is the creativity of it, and we're just going to put some. I'm not going to overload it right now because the ice cream will get it wet. I'll just add it as I need. I just had this out for like not even 2 minutes. And I have a lot in my freezer, so it's not hard as a rock in there. And hopefully it's not too soft. I don't think it is. And then I've got my plastic wrap all set, so I can assemble, do one at a time, and then put it in the freezer. So I won't do the whole batch with you, but kind of give you an idea. Now, I was reading some other people's recipes. I'm making ice cream sandwiches, and there's some different tips that I think are helpful. I thought, do I really need a recipe for ice cream sandwiches? Just make cookies and then put some ice cream in there. But the thing is, some people recommend to make sure your cookie is a softer cookie so that it's easier to bite into. And I thought, oh yeah, I know what you mean. So we'll see. I started one. I'll try it later, and we'll see. Um, so you're just going to be careful not to press too hard because we don't want to break the cookie. And then gently put the other cookie. And you see the ratio. I have some of that ice cream sticking out. You want that so that you can make sure you cover your. And then I just dipping it in. And it works for the pretty much the most part. Now there are a couple spots where you see right in there, because the ice cream is in there, it didn't reach. So I have this little teaspoon, and then I just pour it on there and press. Just wanting that fun, festive, party feel with these rainbow sprinkles, and it's making me happy. Gosh, look how cute that is. Right? Is that cute? All right, so I'll get some of our plastic wrap. Oh, I got a whole new roll, and not it's not put through there right. So I'm gonna hurry up because I don't want these to melt. And I'll fix that and come back. So I'm gonna wrap it nicely and put it right in the freezer because you don't want them to get soft and mushy. So it's a little bit of a process. Let's try this angle because I got to keep getting into the freezer, and I had my stand in front of the freezer. That wasn't going to work. So now it's already really softening up. So I think you got to kind of move, somewhat quickly, but gently still. So I'm making some of these for our 4th of July dessert, and then I have a covered dish to go to on Friday. So I thought I signed up for dessert. So I'm just kind of smoothing it out to the edges of the cookie. Use this little frosting or icing spatula. That works great. All right, and then we'll gently put that on top. And this will be really perfect just like this. But of course we wanted to use our rainbow sprinkles. So I'm gonna dip it in there. Dip and roll, dip and roll. Now, I got a question. So when you go out and get soft serve ice cream or hard serve, oh, my husband, I love soft serve. Give me a shout out. Put an ice cream cone emoji if you like soft serve. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, when you get an ice cream cone, do you get rainbow sprinkles, chocolate sprinkles, or do you get chocolate dip or some cherry dip? That's pretty good. All right, look how pretty. Says, doesn't that make you happy? Like little things, pretty color, little fun things. And hopefully everybody likes them. I'll wrap this up. And let's get them moving. Looks even pretty in the wrapper. Get them in the freezer. Now this will be a trick because my freezer's so packed. So let's go on to the next. Like I said, I'll do a couple more and then the rest these are pretty close in size. I don't want to take a ton of video of doing this because that would be boring. So scooping that nice. I think I put a little too much on that one. And it's melting already. Definitely need more sprinkles. Hey, I'm thinking I was going to use this all summer, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm not. I'm already have a quarter way through the jar. Unless I just decide to use some of my other sprinkles. I might have to. I might have to do some red, white, and blue or something. I got a ton of sprinkles in the cupboard. But these ones I picked because I just, some sprinkles look better than others. And this pack was really nice. My hands are so sticky. This is a sticky job. I forgot, I just installed this new cling wrap or saran wrap. It's not saran wrap brand, but anyway, plastic wrap. And let's see, can you see that? You can't. I guess it's not a big deal that you see that. Anyways, the plastic wrap, it has a little slide thing. I forgot to put it on. It would make life much easier. I might do that before I'm done here because that's gonna drive me nutty. Let's get it in the freezer. I'll do one more and then this will be interesting fitting these in. But it'll take up less, the whole ice cream container will take up less space. Alright. Alright. These two are kind of nice and evenly, but this one cookie looks a little fragile. I don't want that. Doo-doo, doo-doo. Yep, there we go. Well, something I was going to say about ice cream, and I don't remember what it was, so. When I lived in upstate New York and Connecticut, the Northeast, I just remember so many different little ice cream stands. But when we moved to Texas, there wasn't as many, and there was like tons of frozen yogurt places. But I was like, where's the soft serve ice cream? Where you live, do you have a lot of soft serve places? I know some people prefer hard ice cream, like not a soft serve. But almost every time, I will probably 99.9% of the time, I will take soft serve over a hard ice cream. Especially now too, and we live in Washington State, and let me tell you, there hasn't been a ton of soft serve ice cream stands. There's frozen yogurt, not a ton of that either. Of course, it doesn't get that hot here most of the year. I don't know. There's a ton of coffee stands. I'm putting that on. If you could see, let me get a little close up better. Sorry. So I'm putting that on my flat top. It works really nice as far as clinging. You might just need like a plastic surface, like a get that back the way I had it, like a cutting board or something. Just makes it easier for wrapping. And these should chill at least 3 hours or overnight. And they are definitely going to be overnight, and some are going to be. And you could wrap these in like a parchment or I don't know, a freezer paper. But I feel like that's going to be so bulky, so I'm not doing that. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to do some more, and we'll be back. Because we got the sugar cookies too. We are now ready for our sugar cookies to make some ice cream sandwiches out of that. I've already paired all my cookies, so with these I have about 10. I think I did 11. I could have done 12, but at the end my ice cream was getting really soft. So now I'm using a campfire. This is a limited edition of Tillamook. It's called Campfire Peanut Butter Cup Ice Cream. And doesn't that sound perfect for a 4th of July or a summer picnic? Now this is pretty hard. I've only had this out for 2 minutes. We might have to let it cool down a little bit more. Well, we're okay. Just want to be gentle on those. Let's see. This has bits and pieces of stuff in it, so we'll see how well this comes back down. So I'm just kind of lightly patting it down so it can go to the edges, so we can put our sprinkles. Now, I figured I don't want to use my whole jar of rainbow sprinkles. I decided I had to use some chocolate sprinkles I had in the cupboard. And I'm like, I had to use them up anyway, so I thought that would look good. And then I also had some, just in case I didn't have enough, I have some other sprinkles I can use. So this is such a sticky. Through the process, you are constantly washing your hands with this little treat. But yeah, so I just had I had like 3/4 of a jar. So we'll see how that works. And we'll use these other colored ones if need be. I think we probably will need them. So probably the trick is having it be soft enough, but not too soft, because by the time you get down to the end, and I suppose you can stop and break. Now this one, I feel like you got to be a lot more gentle with pushing down and I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle and press. They're going to be so yummy. And it's homemade. Homemade with love. Right? I'm going to have something fun and special for family and friends. for the holiday. So there we go. That's coated nice. Shake off any excess. Let's just get a close up. Now, doesn't that look like fun? Summer fun. Let's put our cling wrap down. And after each one, we immediately put it in the freezer. And I had to rearrange my freezer a little bit. I just have so much stuff packed in there. One of these days, I'm going to get an extra freezer. I don't have the space for it right now, so get those in there. And let's go on to another one. And in between segments, so I did the oatmeal scotchies with the vanilla bean ice cream. That's Tillamook. That's one of our favorite ice creams around here, so we use that. And you know, when we lived in Texas too, we used to use Tillamook. We also, I think was it Bluebell? Blue Bonnet? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot the name of the ice cream. We used to go nuts over it there, but which is very good. But I'll tell you what, I think we like Tillamook maybe more or in a different way, because Bluebell is very good. It's famous in Texas and probably in some other southern states. Give me a shout out if you've ever had Bluebell ice cream. Some people are like, okay, this is the best ice cream ever. But I'll tell you what, when I grew up in Connecticut, which I told you, and I lived in the Northeast, so like upstate New York, and we had Friendly's up there, Friendly's ice cream shop, and they had really good ice cream. Now I was a lot younger then, so sometimes it's like, you know, when you're younger and you remember something, it's like, oh, this is incredible, and then when you're older, you go back to have that same thing, and it's like, oh, this is my favorite restaurant. I haven't been there in 25 years, but then when you're older, you're like, oh, this is what I remember, because I think as kids, like, right, haven't developed maybe our palate quite. I'm just smoothing these little, and that melts it enough to help that. Plus, it evens it out, and then it helps the sprinkles to attach a little bit better. Let's try this method. Yeah. I'm just going to dump them all in there. It's been a busy day. I work today, like many of us work, plus just editing some other videos, part of a content creator. Let's get that on our... I try to wash my hands in between touching this because I don't want the wrapping to be so sticky that all our guests are like, they're going to get all sticky before they even get to have their ice cream. So, trying to keep it as... Oh, these look so pretty, too. It's a nice little surprise with how, before you serve it, got to make sure your guests aren't allergic to peanut butter or peanuts. But that's how it looks all wrapped up. Pretty. I'll do one more, and I'll finish them up. All right, let's do this one. Yeah, look at this ice cream. It's got chunks of yumminess in there. I was surprised. I didn't realize the ice cream was going to be white. I thought it would be like, you know, more of a peanut buttery color. So I didn't check the ingredients. I usually am pretty good at that, but I kind of was in a rush because I like to try to get things as natural as possible. And really, we hardly ever have, I say hardly ever. Let me retract that. Not often do we have store-bought ice cream, or we love to go out and get a soft serve. And we'll do that now and then because I've switched to 80% clean eating, which I've really been kind of naughty lately. Um, but I try to stay on track. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But anyway, what was I going to say about? Oh, so I've made a lot of my own homemade ice cream because you can control the amount of sugar and what kind of sugar you put in there. Just lightly squishing it. The ice cream sandwich. These are so pretty. I like the way they look. And this would look pretty with red, white, and blue sprinkles too for 4th of July. Or if you're having a summer picnic, you can, do whatever the theme of the party is. You can use some different colors, sprinkles. For your favorite sports team, you can get sprinkles for those colors. Make a little theme party. I'm all about the theme parties. Love it. I'm washing my hands in between. And, you know what I was going to tell you? I was forgetting what it was. I knew it would come back to me. So these sprinkles, we call them sprinkles, right? When I was growing up, we used to call them jimmies. And in the Northeast, or they call them shots. I don't know if you've ever called sprinkles shots. Give me a high five or a shout out, okay? Because the first time when I moved to upstate New York and we went to our local ice cream stand, I'll do one more. And I said, I'll have a chocolate ice cream cone and I'll have shots on mine. And they looked at me like, what? They're like, do you have 3 heads? And I'm like, chocolate shots. And they're still, I had to explain it to them. They're like, oh, you mean sprinkles? I'm like, yeah, yeah. I'm like, well, where we live, where I used to live, well, I lived in New York then, but when I lived in Connecticut, that's what they called it. At least my peeps, my family, my friends. So anyway, they were probably thinking I want a little shot of I don't know what, little shot of what, rum, whiskey, I don't know. They probably thought I was some weirdo. But then once I explained it. So I'm trying to keep these the same. I should just get a good scoop and flatten it out. You don't want it so big. You can't get, especially if kids are eating this, right? It can't be so big they can't put their mouth around it. So I think this is going to be the last one with the chocolate sprinkles, the chocolate shots. I'm going to be a little rebel. Sometimes things come back around. I could start calling them shots and see how far we can get that new word, that new verbiage out there. I'm just joking around. I'm not serious. All right. Let's wrap that baby up. Pretty. All right, I'm going to wash my hands and I think I'm going to get the blue sprinkles out and we'll get this job done. So we've got the ice cream sandwiches all made up, wrapped up, and they're in the freezer, ready for tomorrow night for our fun 4th of July dessert. And then also on Friday, I'll have some. Thanks for taking the time to make this fun holiday dessert, summertime dessert. I hope you give it a try. Let me know if you do. And we'll catch you next time. Bye.